Am I the asshole for not wanting to use any part of my husband's late girlfriend's name for our child? I think I'm jealous of that deal. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm not going to start this off with an explanation as to where the hell I've been but I miss y'all. I love y'all. And a couple of y'all that I've seen in real life have cussed me out. I had a girl threaten me and say, bitch. So I said, okay, you got it. So here I am on YouTube. Thank that queen. Shout out to the violence, because that's why we're here. We're going to be ranking these Am I the A-hole threads on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're not familiar with Am I the A-hole threads, but the main one is where people post ridiculous stuff that they got going on and they're asking Reddit to tell them, are they an a-hole? And you'd be surprised. Sometimes they be delusional enough to think that they're not an a-hole. But we gonna get started. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, please. It says, wife asked for it, then got upset when it happened. This will be cut out if it is not appropriate. He's 38 male. It says, I'm a wrestler. I used to compete at a high level. Obviously, I don't compete anymore, but I still lift weights and wrestle for fun. My wife, 36 female, and I have 3 kids, 15 female, 11 male, and 9 female. I enrolled all of our kids in wrestling at the age of 7. The older 2 have been training and competing since then, and the youngest didn't like the sport, so she quit. And now she's doing gymnastics. My wife has never wrestled, but she goes to the gym regularly, and she has decent strength. Yesterday, I was chatting with my wife, and the topic of our daughter's wrestling tournament came up, and she asked me, what do I think will happen if her and our daughter wrestle? And I told her that she has no chance. Hold on, what's the ages? If you're 36, why are you trying to tussle with a 15-year-old, right? Because that's what she said. You gonna get dragged home. She asked me, what do I think will happen if her and our daughter wrestled? And I told her that she has no chance. And she answered, she is not beating me. I am much stronger. There is those mothers who have a weird competition with their daughters. She not beating me, I'm much stronger. Now I'm 15 and I gotta whoop your ass. And I told her, you can try if you want to, but I'm telling you, you'll get ragdolled. And she said, okay, let's do it then. I wish she would have attached the mother freaking video of them tussling on this daggone thread. And she said, okay, let's do it then. So I called our daughter in the backyard and told her mom wants to wrestle. They wrestled while me and the other kids were watching. And just like I told her, my wife got handled with ease. What'd I say? Ass whooped. Dealt with. When they were done, he didn't have to add that in there. He gonna say something, it didn't last long. You know you did wrong. He said it didn't last long. My wife laughed it off and acted fine. But as soon as it was only me and her, she said, so you knew how that wrestling match was going to go? He told you. I answered yes. And she said, and you still let it happen? I got embarrassed by my own child in front of my other children. And now they're not going to look at me the same. I see women be talking about sometimes. Because as women, we don't be making sense. Like, how you think it's his responsibility? And actually, he did tell you. You said, do you think she's going to whoop my ass? And he said yes. Like, what? Your husband, who used to be a wrestler, has been training her. What you think they was in the backyard playing patty cake when he was training her? Like, I told her she's the one who asked for it, and the idea that our kids will not look at her the same is completely false, because I taught our kids to be graceful, respectful in victory and defeat. And I'm pretty sure they have respect for their mother regardless of what happens in a wrestling match. If I drag my mother at 15 years old, right, he's wrong. At least for me, because if you whoop your mom's ass, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. Go clean your room. Bitch, you clean my room. Go clean my room. What you want to do about it? I will whoop your ass. It's not odd for parents to compete with their kids, especially as they get older. Be like, I still got it. Da, da, da. I raced my father when I was younger. Beat the brakes off him. But that's for another story. If you're watching, father, sorry to embarrass. But it's not embarrassing, because as you get older, like, your athleticism, especially if you don't keep up with yourself, you don't continue to train and stuff like that, you're going to not have it how you used to. My father swore though. He was like, no, like, I'm faster than you. I'm like, at the time, ran track and field. I'm like, no, like, just from an endurance standpoint, you don't got it. You don't got it. And lo and behold, he didn't have it. But when he didn't have it, it was like, proud of you. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. You take your L's on the chin. Or in your case, you probably got rocked in the chin, regardless. Am I the asshole for not wanting to use any part of my husband's late girlfriend's name for our child? Off brick before I even read this story. Matter of fact, let's keep reading. My husband and I have been together for 6 years, married for 3. And now we're expecting our first child. My husband lost his first girlfriend, Emmy, when they were both 21. May she rest in peace. They've been together for almost 6 years. He truly loved her. Oh no, he loved her. That's who he wanted to marry. Now he's stuck with you. Damn. He was honest with me about her and the fact that she would always be someone he missed, and he had maintained a relationship with Emmy's parents. That was always okay with me. He seemed in a good place to be in another relationship, and he dated before me, so it was reassuring. About 6 weeks ago, my husband mentioned that if we had a girl, he would love to use Emmy or Grace, which was Emmy's middle name, somewhere in the name. He told me it was something he always thought of doing. And he told me for a boy, he had ways of using masculine forms of Emmy or Grace somewhere in the boy's name. I told him I wasn't really on board with that, and he never mentioned this to me before. I don't want to name my kids after your dead ex. If you name your child after somebody like, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. No. It was a few days later. He told me he wanted to use the names, and he was putting his foot down. Ooh, he put that foot down, girl. You best. He said only someone jealous. Who the fuck he talking to? Girl, I'm getting mad like this, my man. Who he talking to? What you mean jealous? You think I'm jealous of that dead house? He said only someone jealous would be hesitant to use it. Like I am. Surely keeping Grace alive, amen. He said, don't be jealous of the true love of my life, girl, because he gonna humble you. These men, I asked him how'd he feel about it if he were in my shoes. If I wanted to name my child after someone else, always loved, but couldn't be with. He told me he would suck it up for my sake, and he would accept the dead art competition. Then he said he would actually be the one suggesting it, and there would be no weirdness for him. That's why you can't give men scenarios to be like, well, what if you were in my shoes? Because they're not in your shoes. So of course they're going to be like, I would have did it. Girl, don't be dumb. If I said I wanted to name my child Ashley, and you said you wanted to name her LaQueef, and I said, hell no, I don't want to name her LaQueef. It's nothing else behind it. It's just LaQueef sounds stupid, and I'm not naming my child that. I'm carrying this child. So if you want to name that child Grace, then go be with somebody that's okay with that. You might want to keep that story to yourself for that other person. But ladies, be careful. I read a story. I'm getting off track. I read a story about this girl. She's with her husband. They had a daughter. They named that daughter, let's say, Tasha. And she found out that Tasha was his ex. A couple of weeks later, before he brought it up again, and this time he said he would do this even if I loved my late partner more. So he trying to say, girl, just to let you know, I love her more. Because that's what I heard. And he was only with him because I couldn't be with my late partner if I had one, and I don't. That became something more emotional for me because it felt like a confession. See, women, we be here. We know what be going on. It felt like a confession when he brought it up because it was randomly said to me. But maybe it also felt like he might be speaking for his feelings and how he might think I'd feel. No, you were right the first time. It's confession. He's telling you, I mess with Grace more than I mess with you. So you're either going to name this child after her, or you can get the door. Because I can find the next hoe that'll probably do it. Because as women, we just be doing dumb stuff. I never had an issue with him loving Emmy or remembering her, feeling sad about her death, or anything. I just never thought I'd be asked to name my child after her. And this whole thing has made me insecure in our marriage. I told him as much, and he suggested I was jealous and shouldn't be so threatened by someone who died. He told his sister what was happening a week ago, and now she's asking me to explain my feelings. Girl, fight me! Fight me! Because don't bring your sister over here into the situation. I'll beat her ass too. I'm not explaining nothing. And asking if I'm a woman or a little girl. Because only a little girl would be so jealous of a dead partner. I asked my husband why he told his sister, because now she was getting involved. And he said he had to vent to someone because he felt I was being unreasonable about and unkind about this. The sister set it off. Cause let me put my hair up. Let me whoop your sister's ass. Let me whoop your ass. And let me file for divorce. At this point, it's getting weird. Now, he not only loved Grace more than you, they love Grace more than you. She said, I want my niece to be named Grace Ho. And if you have a problem with it, hit the door. What you gonna do about that? It wasn't as crazy when he first started saying, would you mind if I gave our daughter's middle name was Grace? But respectfully, if I said no, for to turn into this, fighting tooth and nail, he said, I'm not playing with you, ho. My kids will have the love of my life's name. And he just confessed to you that Grace is the love of his life, ho. You're a standard. In my opinion, he needs therapy. On a scale of 1 to 5, considering that she's the one who posted this, you're not the asshole. Him, it's not really an asshole move. I give it a 4. It's more of a, you need help. Let me call the nearest therapist and let me call my divorce lawyer. Am I the asshole for not wanting our friend to ever come back to our house after he literally ate everything we own? My best friend and I live abroad. Early this year, A mutual acquaintance, let's call him K, reached out saying he'd been scammed with an apartment rental and had nowhere to stay. At first, we only offered the weekend, but he was polite, helped around the house, and seemed grateful. So we ended up letting him stay the full 20 days he'd asked for. Love a good scammer, because that's what he sounds like. During that time, some things rubbed us the wrong way. He never bought groceries, and multiple times he pretended he was going to pay, but forgot his wallet, or claimed he could only use Apple Pay, not accept it at our local supermarket. Once, my husband and I shared half a pizza, and he ate the whole other half of the pizza without contributing. I want to see what he looked like, because I know his back is big. This is not one of those ones that's making me mad. This is actually making me tickle, because why y'all let his big ass run over y'all like that? Still, we felt bad for him, so we let it go. We stayed friendly. A few months later, we were planning a 17-day trip. I know he was in a corner like, yes. Since he was struggling with rent, we offered him, hold on. The first red flag is the fact that the brother said he got scammed out of the last apartment. How he don't got no money? If he planned on living on his own, paying somebody else rent. How he ain't got nothing for y'all? Y'all aren't using your brain here. We offered him to stay at our place in exchange for taking care of our dog. I even wrote a Google Doc with instructions for the house, dog care, gym access, etc. I told him he could eat anything that was going to expire, like fruits, veggies, and yogurt. I don't know why y'all would trust him, considering if a man is acting that ridiculous while I'm in the home, how the heck y'all think he acting when y'all not there? I know he gonna be trapping. When we came back, everything was gone. And I mean everything. The entire fridge, freezer, and pantry. He finished 2 jars of jam, a jar of peanut butter, a giant Costco bottle of olive oil, condiments, rice, snacks, cheese, even my husband's supplements, his creatine, protein, and collagen. He completely destroyed a ceramic pan. He consumed things that only usually last us 6 months in just 2 weeks. I honestly suspect he might have taken stuff with him because it's insane how much was missing. Y'all know he took that stuff with him. I didn't confront him, that's your first mistake, except to ask him to replace the pan, which he mocked me about. It's just a pan. Why are you making it a big deal? I gotta meet Kay. I did. This is a character. I felt deeply disrespected. Now he keeps texting me, acting like nothing happened, and wants to hang out. Because you set the tone for that. If you don't confront somebody and say something's a problem, he like, oh, they got it like that. They ain't say nothing back. He's gonna get you again, ho. I told my husband I don't want him in our home ever again. My husband says I'm being too hard, and he wants to stay friends. That's his choice, but I feel completely taken advantage of and disrespected. So am I the asshole for not wanting to see this guy ever again and refusing to let him back in the house? You're not the asshole. This is a mutual acquaintance, so I can't even say this is all on your husband. But like, I feel like your husband should be the one to say it to him, like on a man-to-man thing. But if this your friend too, cuss that man out. Your husband's stupid, so I'ma cuss you out for marrying him. He took a 6-month supply of condiments, supplements, and food, and overstayed his welcome. Y'all lucky he didn't invoke squatters' rights. He's not an a-hole, he's a scammer. And y'all are stupid. I'm gonna end every Am I the A-hole story with my own, because I've had a lot of moments where I had to question, am I wrong? Even though I know I'm not wrong, because I'm never wrong. If you follow me on Instagram, you might already know this story, but let's get to it. Mine's gonna be titled, Am I the A-hole for punching my boyfriend in the face for doing something disgusting? And I'm gonna leave it at that so that way y'all can really, prepare yourself for the ending. I had this boyfriend in middle school, and middle school boyfriends aren't real. We're walking each other to the bus stop, awkwardly hugging. I didn't even give that man a kiss. I was a kid, whatever. One day when he was walking me to the bus stop, he's like, my mom won't be home for a while. She has to work late, so why do you wanna come over? And by come over at our age, it was awkwardly sitting on the stoop because we were too scared to be in the house chilling because if his mother walked in. So I'm like, bet. It's hot outside. It's a nice day. Let's go. I grew up in the city. So in city schools, you take like the public transportation bus to school. They give you bus passes, all that shit. We walk to his house. We chilling. We outside yapping, probably talking about stuff that don't make sense because we in middle school. But let's call him Tony. Hey, Tony. I'm thirsty. Like, it's hot outside. We're sitting outside in our school uniform. We had to wear uniform at the time. This is an example of our uniform, a hot mess. And to be fair, anytime he went in the house, I got a breeze of AC from out the house. So I was like, keep opening that door. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go get you something to drink. He said, do you like red juice? In the hood, we call it red juice. Y'all know that. It's not fruit punch. It's red juice, purple juice, yellow juice. So I said, yeah, I want some red juice, Tony. That's why we together. You know me. Sipping the red juice. And then we looked at the time and I'm like, oh shoot. Then you say your mother was coming home at X time. I don't know what the time was at the time, but he told me what time she was supposed to be home. I said, it's about 15 minutes to that and you still gotta walk me to the bus stop. He's like, okay. I said, I didn't finish the juice, but can you like put this in the sink? Cause I don't want to take your cup. Like if your mother anything like my mother, she won't notice this cup is missing and she won't say where the hell her cup's at. So can you take the cups inside? So he like, all right, I'll take the cups inside. So he's taking a little minute and I'm like, what are you doing? The door's cracked open. So I pushed the door open because his kitchen, when you open the door, you can immediately see his kitchen. I open the door. I'm getting antsy. I'm like, Tony, your mom's going to be home soon. I'm going to call her Miss Tanya. I don't want no problems with Miss Tanya, Tony. Let's go. So I'm looking around. I'm like, Tanya's going to be here any minute. I look over, he's getting the jug of juice out the fridge. And I'm like, Tony, I don't want no more juice. Like, what are you trying to do? I don't want no more juice. I didn't finish the first cup. Like, and he was one of those, like, he was a really sweet boy. Always, like, sometimes he would bring me little fruit snacks and stuff like that. Like, that was my man. That was my everything. Tony, baby, I know you love me, but I don't need nothing. Tanya's gonna come here and whoop both our ass. He has the jug of juice. He has my juice. And he's pouring it in the jug. I says, Tony, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, whoa, Tony, whoa. What are you doing? Like, I understand we're panicking here, but now you got to get rid of all the juice because you just put my used juice back in the new juice. And he like, what are you talking about? Like, why would I just pour this juice down in the sink and waste it? Like, this is perfectly good juice. I beg your pardon? I said perfectly good juice. Mind you, my boo Tony had just bought me snacks and one of the snacks happened to be Cheetos. I had Cheeto dust still at the corner of my mouth as I was drinking that juice, so I know some Cheeto dust is in that juice. What do you mean perfectly good juice? I'm like, Tony, that's nasty. Like, that is disgusting. Now your whole family's gonna drink out of that juice. And I drank and I said, wait a second. You do this all the time. Tony said, my mother taught me not to waste nothing. Like, we always do this. We? Who is we? Who is we? Because as I'm counting on my fingers, you got an older brother who smoked Black and Milds all day. 4-year-old sister who I always see with drool and chips and everything on her mouth. You have a mother that I know be going to town. You got a father that is a dope boy, and I know he be cheating on her. So he probably got some. You telling me I'm drinking your family backwash? And so he's looking like a mixture of confused. You can tell like he really don't think he doing nothing wrong. He like, bro, like, this what we do. Like, my mother would whoop my ass if she found out I put this back in the sink. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, huh? And the comments voice said, Tony, put that fucking cup in the sink. Bring your ass over here real quick. He like, I'm coming, I'm walking to the bus stop. It's still not clocking to Tony. It's not clocking to Tony. I looked him dead in his eyes. And I said, I banged him right in his little ass lip. We ain't never kissed, but my hand kissed his lip that day. It was bleeding low in the corner. He's like, what's wrong with you? Blah, blah, blah. He's yelling and screaming. And I just get to walking up the street. I walked myself to that bus stop. Seen him at school the following day. And I was contemplating. I said, do I tell people this? This is a lose-lose situation. I could tell the school how disgusting things are going on at his home. But at the same time, then everybody gonna know that I drank his family. Like, I drank his family spit juice. Like, I'm like, at that age, I'm like, I don't want to give nobody a reason. And I am in Baltimore City Schools. Them little middle schoolers going eat me and him up. He like, we talk real quick. And you know how dramatic kids are. They're like, ooh, my mother taught me not to hit girls, but you got me messed up. He said, I ain't tell my mother because you wasn't even supposed to be there. If you think that I'm not gonna tell her that you hit me. Now, even though I know I wasn't gonna do this because like I said, I didn't want to be embarrassed. I said, Tony, I'll let the whole school know that your family drinks backwash. I said, I know you didn't think that was a problem before, but no one does that shit. That's disgusting. I said, I should have whooped your behind. I should not have just popped you in your lip. You lucky all you have is a little oomph on your lip. I looked at, he didn't even say nothing. I looked at him, he looked at me. And that was our way of saying, yeah. I made sure when we went up, and we're done. All dramatically. I was a kid. But back then, in the middle school world, they're like, oh, all the boys doing too much. I don't know what he told people. I know everybody just thought I was petty because I broke up with him like that. And Tony could be dangerous these days. I don't want to speak too much, but Tony, I don't know where you at, but I hope you're doing better than that. But I end this off to say, am I the a-hole? Should I have handled that situation differently? I have a lot more stories of am I the a-hole. So I'll always start with the Reddit threads and end with my own. Like, I'm a victim. But love y'all. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all on the next episode of Am I the A-hole? Bye.